Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
Hello, everyone. We're starting. I'm gonna quickly. We're like. I'm so disorganized today, and I apologize. I'm gonna quickly recenter fastcart. There we go. Everyone else looks good. We've got our new PodSat logo supporting the whole PodSat Saturday.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. So thanks to Ghost 404, who will go unnamed, for creating that for us. And
how many Ghost 404s do we have?
I don't know. At least 403 others.
Oh, I see.
So, hello everyone. Before we start the show today, I have a number of words to say, but first a moment for me to make it clear that I'm trying my hardest to be sincere. Nakar is one of my very best friends. His intelligence and enthusiasm know no end. Without Shiver, I probably wouldn't be here. I would have forgotten and gone out for a beer. Fastcart you'll find throughout the community doing what he does best with impunity, helping out everyone and bringing us all together. Black Jurassic, you're pretty spectacular. And that's just the guests that we have on today, with rhyming to slightly obfuscate, but really and truly, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everyone, no matter how they take part. Whether you help us with transcripts or donate on Patreon, follow us on Twitter, or yell during question time. Without all of you, we wouldn't be here. We'd probably be off doing something less fun. So, thanks. Have a beer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think the onion kind of ninjas got me.
That's awesome.
Okay, so once again, I still... Yeah, Ghost, now you do not have to listen to that, but we should totally make cool logos for the entire Star Citizen community of streamers now.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
Ghost
I thought you were going to say the entire Star Citizen community. I was like, whoa, that's a lot. That's like 1 million people almost. And then you're like, the Star Citizen community streamers. I'm like, that's still a lot. But
well, I mean, that is actually a good idea, Fastcart. You make a good point. There should be one for streamers, and there should be some icons for the entire community. So first, a notice. I am still having dropped frame. I'm still having internet problems all the time.
You look fine on the stream.
Is the stream looking fine? Because it's telling me I'm going down to 0 every 2 minutes.
That's it.
I'm noticing it does get pretty choppy in spots, but
yeah.
It is what it is. We'll get your internet.
I'm trying. I'm gonna call up my ISP again and bitch at them more, because this is ridiculous. I've been, basically just trying to say I'm sorry.
Save some bandwidth and stream only the video, right? So all the video that you're streaming, all the bandwidth you're saving on audio, you just, in the drop frames, have this little board notice like they used to in silent films. Nakar is what Eris has to claim.
And Ghost 404 can draw those, right?
Yeah.
There we go. In real time.
We could write out every one of our messages on an Etch-a-Sketch and just hold it up to our camera.
We're all used to playing. Everyone here is used to playing Star Citizen, so this is we're just trying to recreate the experience you get in game on podcast.
Does that mean
like right after 3.0 release of the CPU spikes, so every 30 seconds it just freezes?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
By the end of the stream, it's going to go down to 1 word per minute.
and don't forget, we have a lot of out in Boston, so all the salt that will generate, take care of right on.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Okay. Oh yes, chroma keyed. Okay, I'm still figuring out this new program and how to do things with it.
Yeah, you should chroma key yourself.
I just did. I just did.
Excellent.
Now I got to find something to put behind me.
I just put the Falcon Heavy behind you last time.
True. So
Falcon Heavy. Oh, you mean the rocket? Okay.
every once in a while, I have to remind myself why I have fastcart and shiver on.
You know, they really missed an opportunity with the Falcon Heavy. When it got through the atmosphere, they should have said, and the Falcon has punched through.
Oh man.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit of Star Citizen, I suppose. Nakara, did anything interesting happen this week?
So, okay, I'm gonna just start it off. They focused on weapon balance this week, which I understand you have to do it at some point, but it's not it's a pretty dry topic. I was chatting with Sunjammer before the transcript comes out, and before ATV came out, and he was like, "This is gonna be painful." It was a little better than that, but I think they kind of saved ATV with the character customization demo, which looked really good.
Yeah, I was watching that, and I kept seeing African American or people of color with blonde hair and purple eyes. I'm like, that doesn't. Uncanny Valley went beyond that.
There are some clubs that I've been to, Fastcart, that would blow your mind.
So, Fastcart, I think you're just seeing the future. That's what 900 years brings.
Yeah, okay.
Well, didn't they decide today, or like recently this week, that like the first Briton was blue-eyed and black?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first Briton that was found 10,000 years ago, or that lived 10,000 years ago in Cheese or Cheshire or whatever. Cheddar. That's the one. Cheese.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, he was blue-eyed and black.
They got that from the DNA, or
Yeah, from the DNA.
Okay.
So Star Citizen's just going back to the future.
88 miles per hour.
Or is it going black to the future?
You're catching on.
So,
apparently Ghost 404 is giving you shit because you should use the transparent logo that he sent you.
I mean, you can lead a horse to water.
oh, that I can't. Sorry, I realize now why I couldn't actually see the transparent one, because I'm using Discord in white, and the transparent one doesn't actually show up on Discord in white. So give me a moment. I'll fix that.
See, just you Canadian, so I can't use them being racist.
It's a valid excuse, okay? Let me just switch this up. Done. There. Thank you, Ghost. I appreciate all the.
Cloud88.
Thanks, Cloud88F. Oh.
Eris is broken this week because he played goal too many times. And yes, this is Canada. That means hockey.
I love when I think about it. If Eris seriously hurt his back or his arm, so it was torture for him to do the wave, he'd do the wave, and we'd get so many subscriptions that episode.
It is literally torture for me to do the wave right now. It causes extreme pain.
Listen, is hockey an Olympic sport?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Canada
there
had
race between the Canadians and the Russians each year?
Canada, Sweden, Russian, US. But there was actually a very noteworthy world moment that happened like today or yesterday in hockey, where the combined Olympic women's hockey team between North and South Korea, 28 South Korean women and 12 North Korean women, the same team played together against, they lost 8-0, but they played together on the same team
I think you'll find that the news reports that they won 16-0.
And that's the truth, according to Kim.
Alternative facts.
Man, so what are we again? We're a what podcast?
Will we
I
discuss
have no idea what we're doing.
Thanks, Star Citizen?
Okay, here's the thing, guys. This week's episode was all about weapon balance, and none of us give a shit about weapons.
Well, no, care about weapon balance, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we know you got to do it, but fucking hell, I'm glad someone gets paid to do this fucking job because
I care about the side of the torpedoes.
Okay, yeah.
Fair enough.
Size
Thank you.
matters.
So, do you want to quickly touch on the roadmap? Because some
Yeah, let's
interesting
do it.
things happened with that this week.
Go.
So,
Let me see if I can find out.
probably for the first time in Star Citizen's development, a feature moved up by a whole 3 months this week. CIG moved service beacons, just the very beginning of service beacons. I think it's just distress calls. But they moved them up from 3.2 to 3.1. And what I think this will do for them is, well, first of all, we'll be able to send distress calls earlier, but it means that before they need the service beacon tech to work really well in 3.2, because there's a million different things that you need it for in 3.2, they get to test it in 3.1 with distress calls. But yeah, it's great to see a feature move up.
I'd just like to clarify for a moment here, because Hot Jobs and SC and Ghost 404 are attacking me a little bit here.
No, I just posted the moment. I was just posting the link. That's all I did. I wasn't attacking.
No. Just Hot Jobs and Ghost are mentioning that I've been crying for months about weapon choice and claiming I don't care about weapons. I care about number of weapons, not whether or not they're balanced. Balance can go to people who play PvP. That ain't me. I just want there to be a million weapons for me to choose from.
Well, I care about PvE because I want my weapon to be more powerful than the Vandal.
Yes.
Two things. First of all, thank you, Cloud88F, for that. Thank you.
Does that get a wave?
Say that.
Yes.
I don't wait.
I'll
You-
wait
you want-
for you.
I'll wait until he is in tremendous pain, and then I will get him with that. When he's completely forgotten about it, and he is literally writhing in agony already, I will then make him do the wave for all of you, with thanks to Cloud AF. And second of all, you've got to care about weapon balancing in PvE, because if the Vandal weapons are completely OP and the shield,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, you've got
That's what I'm saying.
it's
We get each other.
And what I'd like to know is, because in most games, let's take Eve, right? A PvE setup is completely, radically different to a PvP setup. By and large, there are exceptions, but let's not go into those sort of semantics. How's Star Citizen going to approach that? Is that going to be, you need to have even more hull than normal, or you need to be able to kite, or would you be able to have a PvE/PvP loadout that is just as effective for both and not have to worry? Or would you get caught with your trousers down?
I believe a PvP loadout will probably be effective in PvE format, but I'm not sure about PvE only being effective in PvP format.
One thing I think actually might be really effective in PvP, because you're looking at like human error and humans trying to shoot things, is getting your ship going as fast as possible. I remember trying to dogfight against M50s in Arena Commander, and it is a freaking nightmare. Because if you can't hit them, they will kill you.
one person who can dogfight in M50 Miss Hart, and she's pretty good at it. Jake will attest to that.
Wow.
I know is I have a feeling that in PvP missiles aren't going to be great. So I'm really hoping that they'll still be functional in PvE because missiles are kind of hard for CIG to balance, it seems. Like, missile goes off, chaff, missile, like, you just...
Yeah. What game is... I haven't got much experience with, out of the standard missiles of, target lock, it's a heat seeker or whatever, and you fire it, and it's just like you say. I'm sure there must be games out there where they've done much better missile implementation, but I would love to know what they are and what the system was.
EVE Online, missiles are probably only good in PvE.
Yeah, and I feel like that might be the same in Star Citizen. Missiles might not be that effective PvP because unless they severely limit the number of chaff and flares that a ship can hold at a time. But like if you've got 40 of each.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm waiting for my Freelancer MIS missile boat to come out, and because if it's not as good as I'm hoping it'll be, I'll probably CC you to a Super Hornet or something.
Mm-hmm. What I was wondering though is an effective strategy for missiles might actually be in group fighting. Like if you can get someone to pop an EMP on somebody, they can't launch their flares or their chaff. And so you get your buddy to pop an EMP on somebody and then you smash them with a torpedo or a missile. I mean, that would work. But yes, like solo dogfighting in PvP, you're pretty hard pressed right now to get missiles to work. You kind of have to like overload the guy with so many missiles that he can't keep track.
Oh, wait, he's just skimming above and be like, "They'll get him."
Although rattlers are sometimes hard to stop.
Yeah, rattlers will be a headache in any environment.
Do you remember when you would fire a rattler and you'd have all those warheads come out? You knew someone fired a rattler because even Arena Commander slowed down to like 9. Someone's got rattlers.
I love rattlers so much.
I prefer the locking, the track, the ship as it goes, but you'll see.
Actually, I've got a weird question that for some reason I'm blanking on, and Nakara, you might be able to help me out here. But are there any plans for like space mines? Space mine.
They've been mentioned, I think, like once or twice.
Looks deactivated. Deactivated.
I'm fairly certain they'll happen at some point.
Yeah,
that's what I would say. They might not even be in at launch, but it's one of those. It's like a natural thing that you can do. So yeah. Why can't we hear you anymore?
Because I'm just mouthing, hoping that someone will get the reference.
Nope.
No. I mean, there's been lots. Anyway, I'm not gonna walk into. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep right on going.
Could you not manually use a torp in that way? Just set it so it just explodes on proximity and throw out the back of the airlock.
Assuming they allow you to. That's. I mean, the game mechanic has to actually be there.
The thing is, I can see space mines work in TV and movies because people forget that they're 3-dimensional, but I don't see I can just go around them.
When you're in a dogfight or a chase.
Yeah, dropping it in a chase, or I'm thinking more pirates show up and you're gonna run, right? But one of the ways to increase your chances of running successfully against pirates is to dump some or all of your cargo, right? Just dump some cargo and hope that they'll stop at the cargo. But fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna dump some space mines with my cargo, right?
What they did say is going to be in there, or is definitely in the plans, is being able to mine or trap your cargo containers.
Good. Then I'm happy.
As a pirate, by luring someone into an asteroid belt that you've mined out, and they would see the mines, so they wouldn't go that way. So you could push them in the direction you want as well.
You could also use them. I mean, yes, space is 3-dimensional, but there are still points of interest in tactical places of tactical importance, so you can still like protect your base with mines. You know.
So let's say that they trap your cargo. What's good at lockpicking when I need to deactivate it? And will it be like? And will it Would it be like a golf,
1203.
a golf swing mechanic or something in order to?
You're
No, it'll
conjuring
be like a real life thing. So you know your character is Death of a Spaceman. Well, if you screw up, then you just explode.
Yep.
And you're on to your next character.
I thought of a bad joke, but I'm not gonna say it.
Go on.
No. Mm-mm.
No,
and this is something that they've talked about for a number of different things. And they've talked about it for mining and salvage and drink making and everything. And I hope that they do make everything up to and including disarming traps more than just hold F to disarm trap, or the Skyrim way of it's a lockpick. Oh, the lockpick broke. Oh, it's a lock. Oh, here it is. I opened the lock. Ha ha. I want there to be like
I actually
a
don't
bomb.
think Skyrim's was terrible.
It's not terrible, but like I want there to be like a bomb with a bunch of wires, and you have to like try and figure out which
Cut
one
the
it is.
wire.
I
I'm
want.
too old
You know
for
what
that
I want?
shit.
No, hold up. You know what I want? I want them to use some of the 180 million or whatever, 178, and purchase the rights to use in Star Citizen the what is it? Keep talking, and
Keep talking, don't explode.
yeah.
What?
Keep
What?
talking, and nobody explodes.
Oh, okay.
I want them to like use keep talking and nobody explodes in Star Citizen for disarming mines.
That's awesome.
And like you have to refer to a manual on your mobile glass for what.
The problem with that is that so many test members are drunk that just won't work. Everybody's going to.
What do you mean there are 4 wires? I see 8.
Ghost. I hate to burst your bubble, but I am in charge of Relay's finances.
Yep, you sure are. He actually takes very good care of our finances, believe it or not.
We get only second quality hookers.
Yep. We'll do what we can afford. Oh man.
Flying last. Did you see that?
So
Laughing
one
hurts.
thing I did want to mention to you, David, because
Yep.
I'm not sure if you saw it this week. They are working towards the modular weapons thing, so it sounds like a lot more weapons will come out after that. And they're also they also mentioned this week that they're adding another 1 or 2 damage types.
Yes, I saw that.
Beyond the kinetic energy and distortion that they currently have.
5 in total, I think, is what they were saying
Yeah.
they're going to end up.
4 or
4 or
5,
5,
they
yeah.
think, but I mean that's even like sounds like in the near-ish term future. But I think that's definitely a good avenue in the future for opening up like whole other branches of weapons. And they actually did that in Star Trek a fair amount. Like they would run into a new alien race and they'd have like terrifying weapons. And
I can just see now Tony Durovec's imagination. Right, we're going to introduce a new career. Hostage negotiator. We have a new dynamic. Emotional.
Okay, if anybody from CIG is watching, can you please pass that along to Tony C? Oh, not that they ever would have watched us. But...
Negotiate with an NPC who's had a really shit life and his NPC wife's been cheating on him. And had to, like, stop it NPCs into school. And after that, you go back on your luxury 600i yacht and pretend to play Tapper, mix some drinks.
Okay, that got. Oh wow.
That was awesome. So moving along.
How do you move along from that?
Yeah, we're done.
the winning Operation Pitchfork logo was revealed this week.
It was. It's. I like that they've
I like-
turned. I've liked that they've turned it from Operation Pitchfork to Operation Dull Rake.
Wow, that's vicious.
It looks like a rake.
At least they know Sideshow Bob isn't going to be part of their group.
Wow. I think it looks good.
It looks good. It just doesn't look
send all
like
of
a
your
pitchfork.
Send all of your complaints to
Sailor
David.
67.
Yeah, I have a picture of it.
Yeah, I'm linking it right now.
Send it to me. I can put it up on the Stram.
Oh, I will do that. That's a better idea.
Yeah.
I'll send it to Eric.
I have
They-
slightly
they
more.
tried stuff.
What?
What?
They tried stuff.
Oh, you. I just.
You keep inviting him back. It's your fault.
It's not a trident because it has 4 prongs.
Yeah. Shit.
It could be a 4-dent.
There it is.
A quadrant.
There is the new logo.
I'm looking
Oh,
for
man.
it. Okay, it's over your face.
But it's seriously, it's a rake now, not a pitchfork. Pitchforks are pointy. Rakes are rakey.
You see, when you say rake, I keep thinking of all the drunk tech members because it's gonna be stepping on it and then smacking them in the face.
It is a really good looking logo.
I like it though.
I do like it. I do hope that CIG puts the logo in game. Like it is nice.
Oh, that'd be so awesome to have like a huge fleet of player ships all with the Operation Pitchfork logo on the side.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
Pitchfork Operation Pitchfork is something that goes beyond orgs, goes beyond most things in Star Citizen. It's something that's changed the game and how the game is made. So yeah.
I like what Sunjammer is commenting now. Operation Comb
Comb
Over.
over. Oh,
Gonna do
no comment.
Okay.
Operation Back Scratcher. Yeah, could be.
You know?
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
The other thing I was happy to see this week was in the roadmap is under, was it Cortec? Cortec. For 3.3, they added environmental blending shader. So basically what this means is that all those rocks that you see on the surface of planets and everything else, they'll be creating a shader to make them blend in with the planet's surface, regardless of what the planet's surface is. So if it's snow or ice or dirt or whatever, or sand, it'll basically make it look like those are part of the surface instead of... It's better now, but especially when they first did procedural planets, everything they stuck on the surface looked like it was like completely disconnected from the planet. Yeah, there's another shader being added to work on that. That's in 3.3, so October.
Yep.
Da, 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 da.
What else was there this week? Optimization is going to continue throughout. Optimization is good.
I like optimization.
Actually, I did like that they talked a little bit about armor and that, like, so ships of the same size will have the same health, but then their armor is something that you can kind of vary by ship, and the armor will determine basically the damage reduction
Yeah,
to
I thought
that
that was good.
health. That's a good system. I'm excited to have that in game because it'll start differentiating like a Super Hornet from a Hornet Ghost, of stealth armor and heavy armor, and you'll be able to get the heaviest armor on your Starfarer, and it'll be the militarized Starfarer versus the original one. Like, that's all.
I want them to allow you to put like super heavy armor on the M50 and have it be slow as shit.
Yeah. But
Just like the engines are firing real hard, and you're just like,
I'm gonna do that one.
I think it was on RTV as well. They mentioned about the way the damage is going to work going forward, how it's going to be worked on, and they gave examples using the physics boxes to help.
yeah.
Like the Idris, if you survive in a compartment of the Idris that's essentially whole, in theory, you would survive as well. That's pretty cool.
Which reminds me of Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I broke everyone. Yes. I broke everyone. Yes. That is a real picture.
I know. I was trying to avoid it. I was really trying to avoid it.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
No, you weren't.
I try very hard to avoid politics here
That's
on this show.
that's not politics. That's a picture of windblown hair.
That's true. That is very true.
So, my lord.
I feel sorry to people who are watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, no, they will. They can see the. They can type it in.
Oh, okay.
You can
Okay, yeah.
see the link.
type it
You
in.
can type it in.
it's like a
Okay.
What was that they call?
Weapons are a thing now.
Which
Kinda.
weapon?
I said, yeah, they could type it in. The link's only a mile long.
No, I put in the second link. The immigrant link
Oh,
is the same
yeah,
one.
that's better. Okay. All right.
Weapons, huh?
So should I talk
Oh.
about the topic of the week for a bit?
Let's yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. The news from Star Citizen was good. It's always good to get these project updates. It sounds like more work is continuing on optimization and, kind of completing 3.0 as they move to 3.1, which is important. And we're going to be coming up to 3.1 soon, right?
We have
Like,
a little over 6 weeks, a little 6 or 7 weeks until 3.1 is supposed to be out.
yeah. So
Soon.
3.1 will be coming soon. So I think we're right now in the wind down of 3.0 before they spool up the 3.1, which is why there's not that much news in Star Citizen. And it's why we had an episode focused on something like weapon balancing, which, while interesting, doesn't actually leave people much to talk about. Fortunately for us, and for you, the viewer, we had some extremely exciting news happen this week in space. So, Nakara, won't you take it away?
Sure. Okay. So I wanted to read something that we got yesterday from CIG. And it says, Dear citizen, earlier this week, the SpaceX team, a group close to our hearts for somewhat obvious reasons, successfully tested the Falcon Heavy. We congratulate the entire team. And in the words of Imperator Kilos Costigan, we honor those who shared the vision, who dared to believe when it was just a dream and a promise. So that's the words from CIG to SpaceX. There were a lot of words from everyone around the world to SpaceX this week as we watched probably the most exciting thing to happen in space in at least 7 years since the last shuttle flew, but arguably much longer than that. So SpaceX successfully launched the Falcon Heavy on February 6th this week, miraculously on its first launch date. I'm still not sure how they pulled that off. Very, very few rockets hold their launch date, especially maiden flights. And even that day, I'm not sure how many of you remember this now that it's happened, but throughout the day on February 6th, it was delayed by almost 3 hours as they waited for the winds to come down. But then it got off the pad, and holy crap, was it ever glorious. I've watched so many reactions from people around the world and from SpaceX themselves, and it was an incredible moment.
I just saw it in the story, and thank you.
And yeah, like you could see how much it meant to SpaceX too, because there was actually a stream that was posted later. I posted it in our Discord, but they actually did post on their YouTube a full stream of the entire launch, and it's just looking at their mission control. It's just like the whole launch you just viewed from their mission control. And they're just freaking out, and it was so cool to see.
I remember. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I remember the very first launch when they were testing everything, and it took off, and the thing landed. I remember looking at it like that looked like a stage. It looked like something from Hollywood. Now it's getting so that we're used to it.
Yeah, I know.
Fastcart, people look at footage of the moon and think exactly the same thing.
There's actually a really good line in because of course we got to see for almost 5 hours, we got to see Starman in his roadster floating around the Earth, and that video is still up on YouTube too. If you just ever want to have something on in the background, you can watch Starman floating around the Earth.
Oh, there's an amazing GIF about that too. Let me find it again.
Awesome. But like as Elon was saying in his press conference after, he's like, you can tell it's real because of how fake it looks. Because as he was saying, like there's nothing in space to to mess with colors. So if things look really weird, they look way too crisp and yeah, it was so cool. Like for hours that day, I was just sitting here like doing other things, but on my second screen I had Starman for like 5 hours, and I just look over every once in a while and it's like, hey, there he is. And perhaps
there is Earth. There is every single one of us. And hey, there's a fake
Wait a
in the
minute.
car.
I can tell that's fake because the Earth is not flat in that picture.
I just want to answer a quick question here. Melazar asks, didn't it get delayed like 2 times? It got delayed on the day of launch. Like I think it got delayed from like, what was it supposed to be, 11:30 my time, which is like 1:30 in Florida, until I think it launched at 3:45. So it was delayed a bit.
Anyways, I was going to ask you, could you put that in Twitch or give it to me to post in Twitch?
That's a good idea. And then probably the perfect capper to the night, actually right over LA, which is where SpaceX's headquarters is. We got the final burn of Starman as it left Earth's orbit and continued on past Mars. Obviously, it hasn't gone past Mars yet, but that's where it's going. And yeah, the people in LA got this great sight of this of the final burn. You could see it in the sky. And I've actually, it's funny because no one knew it was going to happen, and over LA. So for the first like day or so, all we got was like really shitty cell phone pictures because people were like, "Oh shit!"
And people being like, "Aliens sighted over California."
Oh,
guys,
actually,
it was an alien. Aliens.
No, it's
Aliens are real.
No, it's not alien. It's North Korea.
Aliens in North Korea.
North Korean aliens. North Korean aliens. Gotta make sure you get that right. Actually, I read something that I think is pretty funny. I think it's the next launch that they're doing. It's called PAZ. And it is being done. Yeah, it's being done from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, the same place where the last problematic launch was, that caused everyone to lose their minds. And guess what? This time they're doing it the other way around. They're launching before the sun comes up in the morning, and the same thing is going to happen.
Yep.
It's going to be dark in the sky, but the rocket trail will be bright because the sun will be on its way up. and people will yet again wake up in the morning and go,
Aliens! There's aliens!
Because it's dark.
I didn't hear you say that again.
If it gets lost on the way, it might because it's dark. How does it know?
So
And-
I want to talk a little bit about the implications of Falcon Heavy launching. I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. It was on everything. Stephen Colbert covered it 2 days in a row.
It's the most significant thing that's happened in the world in a while, and
It didn't
that's
happen in the world, though, did it? It happened in orbit.
well, part of it happened in the world, and then the rest of it left the world, like the rest of us want to.
Oh, actually, something I wanted to mention. Elon Musk actually made a mistake. The initial orbit that he put on his Twitter
Yeah,
was wrong. This is, and then what it looks like very much to the people like astronomers, it looks like he had a typo when he did the orbital calculation. So Starman is going to just a little bit past Mars, but it's not going to the asteroid belt like he had suggested.
okay.
It is going to pass Mars's orbit in July, so actually not that long from now. But it'll be further from Earth than Mars is by the time July's over. But it was so cool this week to see there were so many people around the world who were digging up their telescopes and trying to find it, and there's like services you can do online where you can like rent telescopes around the world. I think there's one called a virtual telescope, and people were doing this and like just looking for the Roadster, and a bunch of them found it, and there's videos and pictures posted everywhere of it like flying across the sky.
Are they going to crash it on Mars or just leave it in orbit?
It will not actually enter orbit of Mars. They did not want
It's
to
in
hit
orbit around the sun,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but
it's in
it
orbit
goes
around
out
the
as
sun.
far as
Put
Mars.
If they're going to crash it on Mars and we don't go to Mars in the next, generation or two, that's going to really fuck with people in the future when they get there.
Everyone forgets about it, and they're like, "What the fuck is this thing?"
So it's
So what you're saying?
it's
what you're
almost
saying
time
is
for question time. Go,
Okay,
sorry,
so
go
what
ahead.
you're saying
Go ahead, Fastcart.
It's not going to the Gamma Quadrant like in Star Trek Voyager.
Unfortunately, no.
No.
But
Well,
someday.
maybe you never know. There's actually a great gift somebody did of Voyager finding the Roadster.
Yeah, that I posted that up.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was really well done. The Rust
so-
Trail.
Yep.
Yep.
So I just wanted to talk about the implications of Falcon Heavy, what it actually means. So the shuttle had more. The shuttle had more power at liftoff, but because it was carrying a shuttle to orbit, it did not have anywhere near the payload capacity of Falcon Heavy. So the last thing to really have the payload capacity in excess of Falcon Heavy was Saturn V. It is insane. You can get 140,000 pounds to low Earth orbit on one flight.
How much
Oh,
is that in
Falcon.
kilograms? No, I'm kidding.
66,000, I think.
What's that in Canadian dollars?
What?
Anyway. Oh God, in pounds, right? Anyway, but basically, what this means is that it can take over the duties of. Basically, it can launch almost anything that we want to launch, and the important part of that is it's $90 million for a launch. Most of the other rockets that are even like the Delta IV Heavy was the largest rocket in the world before Falcon Heavy flew. It's almost $400 million for a launch on Delta IV Heavy. Falcon Heavy's twice the payload capacity, and it launches for like a fifth the price, almost. So it's huge for opening up the possibility of launching really interesting missions for not that much money, which could really help NASA, for example, where they don't have to spend like $500 million on their ride to space.
Because the American military gets, $80 billion of extra funding, and then the rest of America gets 60, and NASA gets like 30 million of that. Guys, fund NASA better, please.
They're not going
Don't
to.
NASA make deals with the American Air Force to put their satellites in orbit and get some of their money that way as well because their funding was cut so severely. And I don't know it. No, I don't know if this is true, and I'm not pointing fingers. It could well be just something, some bollocks that's come over. But I understand it. That let's say the current administration is not looking particularly favourable on space exploration.
No, because space exploration tends to show that global warming is real.
Can't put a fucking wall in space. I know.
It really depends. It's very, very touchy subject with them. Some things they love. Things that make America look good, they 100%. Mike Pence, for example, absolutely freaking, he's like a maniac for the space. He loves it. That's why he founded and is the chairman of the National Space Council.
As long as
nothing
it's
is allowed
space.
to look at Earth. Nothing
It's
is allowed to
space
look at Earth.
only. They hate that NASA also has satellites that looks at Earth and says, hey guys, Earth, it ain't gonna last forever. Earth, it's not a Duracell battery. Earth.
Just to sponsor Dirksy Goldzan, I think the last one that I can remember in my lifetime was Reagan with the Star Wars project looking all right at space.
Yeah, and George Lucas did not like that naming.
I'm hoping. I was actually I was surprised at how much play the Falcon Heavy got. It was huge, and that makes me really. It made me very happy because I wasn't sure what the public appetite for space was these days.
I mean, yeah, it's big because there's that much of it these days. I mean, there's no coverage of it. So,
the problem is that it hasn't been interesting. Like, Falcon is the only thing recently that's been interesting. Even Blue Origin is really secretive, and NASA hasn't been doing much. And, like, what's NASA's, we're heading to the ISS again. Okay, are you guys going to go anywhere? No, we're just, doing our stuff. But SpaceX...
You can even see it a little bit.
How long has it been since humans have been to the moon?
Since 1972?
Yeah, so it's been 46 years since you've been there.
I wrote a poem about it. How the moon is lonely because it hasn't had a visitor since... Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that I have seen a little bit of it in the past couple of years. People seem very fascinated with Pluto. So when New Horizons was sending back all the pictures, there was a lot of play on that. But New Horizons was a flyby. It lasted for a day.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
When Curiosity landed years ago, there was a big hubbub about it because, hey, we've got another vehicle on Mars. But again, it's what, the third car on Mars that we've got?
A rover? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's a car.
It's the only car-sized one. The other ones are smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, Curiosity's huge.
Let me know when they land a Tonk.
They should land a Tonk. It probably wouldn't have so many problems with its wheels.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say something in reference to what Silver said a while ago. Say instead of making a wall in space, it'll be a Dyson sphere, and we'll make the Martian pay for it.
Yes.
Wow.
I like it.
So, one last thing before we go to questions.
Yep.
Very quick. NASA's next Mars mission, which is launching this year, it's called InSight. It's actually really cool. I'm not sure how many of you remember the Phoenix lander, but it's basically all the same hardware, except the science instruments are totally different.
It's not got a hot tub on it like the Phoenix lander.
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
But the cool thing is it does have basically its entire job is to it's got like a seismograph and like internal heat probes and a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, it's going to study the core of Mars and find out if it has tectonic plates, if there are Mars quakes, if basically its entire internal structure, how much heat is left in the core. It's going to be huge.
Question.
I don't know if it's hollow or not.
Would it not still be called?
See, they don't know if the moon is hollow or not because of the way it resonates. It carries sound through it, and it shouldn't because it's a celestial fucking object. Seriously, I believe that's actual NASA research, and they're like, the moon might be hollow.
Hollow? It can't be completely hollow.
It wouldn't be like completely hollow, but like.
But if it had a molten,
but
if it had a molten core at one point, and then the molten core cooled, things shrink when they've cooled, right? So maybe the moon is actually a giant, like one of those cat toys.
Just like bounces around on the inside.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I want to.
Slander. If you hear about it, it's called Insight. Go check it out if you want to know more about it, and it's launching this year.
Actually, no,
Asterisk with me. I'm crazy.
Shiver. The moon is actually an egg for an alien baby. A humongous alien.
It's yeah. That's Doctor Who though. That was a terrible episode. Terrible episode. One of the most disappointing, aside from the black spot. That episode I hated.
Hey.
It's not because it was black. It's because it was really, really bad portrayal of a pirate ship. So we're going to move to questions. Ask us your questions. Type exclamation mark, question mark in the chat to ask them. I'm actually going to go and get another beer while someone else, Shiver, reads the first of the questions. But before that, Mr. Paul from the Astropub is in chat. Now,
Hi,
Paul is part of the Podsat Saturday, which has a brand new spanking logo right here. There's an E. There's like a sideways space shuttle, and there's some guy's face. So Paul's here. He's the next part of it. He goes live about 2 hours after we finish. And then like 2 hours after him, GHG goes live with Not So Sober Saturday. Check them all out because they are all a lot better and a lot more successful than us. So with that, what's that, Chip?
Not wrong.
So I thought it was a sideways W, some kind of sex toy, and GHG just looking jaunty.
No, it's a sideways M.
Oh.
If you squint it,
I thought it was a monster from Space Invaders. Like an
No,
enemy
that's
from...
GHG.
Oh, right. Oh, apparently it's the Mercury capsule. Me.
Oh, you did that one. You're supposed to say,
Now.
actually, it's a Mercury capsule.
Actually, it's the Mercury capsule, guys. It was launched on the Mercury.
from Mercury.
Mer-
It's from Mercury or made from Mercury?
It was.
Well,
Mercury has got a space program.
I need a beer. Sure, ask the next question.
Top hat.
That's the first question.
Monocle.
Ow.
Top Hat Monocle, which is a great name, asks, after the latest images of the Phoenix, what are your thoughts on the ship versus the 600i?
Baller.
Nakara?
I think I like the 600i better. It's more dedicated to its craft. This is like the Phoenix is kind of just like a Connie that's been retrofitted to be baller.
Kind of like having difference between, let's say, a luxury Ford car and a luxury BMW.
Like a Jaguar.
Yeah. Triangularity asks, when will we see the next concept sale?
Oh, they said something. Well, I don't know if it's going to be a sale, but I think with Disco Orlando or something alluded to something special this coming week, but I'm not sure if it's a sale or not.
Now we haven't actually seen because or no,
There haven't been many concept sales recently.
yeah, but when's the last one we had? We had one during the holiday sale, right?
Holidays.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was the Tonk. The
Yeah.
last one is the Tonk.
but it's been a month and a half since then, and they did say early last year that they'd be sticking to about a month and a half between each concept sales.
I would expect to see one soon.
We should see one soon if they're sticking to that schedule.
I think they probably have another wave of ships on the way.
What I'd like to know is why is no one talking about when Aaron hinted a couple of weeks ago about underwater shit? You know?
I talked about it.
We talked about it.
Everyone needs to be going nuts over this though, because it's like, what are we going to be?
He hinted at it.
He hinted at the possibility. He was like, if we do large water planets with underwater stuff, then we'd have underwater. But we've heard that before.
It's like, if we do this, it's like, okay, so you're obviously not going to do that and tell us about it.
But we've heard that before.
And then like 4 months later, Germany comes out with this amazing tech like this procedural planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Procedural oceans
like,
with waves and caves.
Waves and
like,
caves. Wow.
You can use it to reinforce the bulkhead so you can go underwater. It can withstand pressure. You're going to be able to use it to hide. We got this moment from Star Trek, and even though it was a shit film and not representation of Star Trek in any way, that moment was pretty cool, we have to admit.
Yeah.
I'd have interjected my own personal feelings there, but that's fine.
Just a little.
You're not a person. You don't have feelings.
I had a feeling once. I think it was hunger.
Dirk Goisen, yeah, there are planets in the lore that are entirely water. There's a really nice luxury planet in lore, actually, that is super expensive to build on. Absolutely beautiful, except for the wave that comes along every once in a while and destroys everything on the planet.
Yeah, I love that. There's some great concept images of that.
And it's super luxury because, like, people come down and build these really luxury, like, palace things that eventually get destroyed. And then they go down and build more. Because, I mean, when you've got all the money, what do? Unless you're Elon Musk, and then you literally change the world.
Yeah.
Apparently, my injured spine is asking a question when it should be getting better. What is the status of weapon customization, like sights, barrels, grips, and etc. for weapons?
WIP.
Yeah,
Work in progress.
For people who don't know, that means work in progress.
The last I had mention was on the monthly report where they said they were working on the effectively the modular foundation, so they could basically go, you know, here are the sights, the barrels, the grips, and now make whatever design you want that goes on top. I guess that is a guess. That is a pure guess.
I feel like
They're doing it.
Yeah.
We just don't know when it's coming.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that they've actually talked about a fair number of times, especially in conjunction with Items 2.0. Like they've talked about the stuff coming a lot, and some of the things that were surprising was, like, I'm thinking back to like 2 years ago, hearing like Matt Sherman talking about Items 2.0 coming soon, and being like, oh, and it's still coming soon, most of it. But yeah, that weapon attachments are another one of those, like, coming soon to Items 2.0.
Sure.
We don't know. I honestly think that will help the game immensely. I don't really like any of the weapons that are in the game right now. I hate the assault rifle. It feels too jerky. I'd really like to add like a foregrip to it to stabilize it a bit more and maybe slow down the rate of fire. I don't like the electric shotgun. Like, I want to customize the guns. I hate the sight on the. I hate the sniper rifle sight is ass.
There should be a whole planet that's dedicated. That's literally like a world where PUBG happens.
Well,
it's just a battle royale world where you just get sent down and you have to scrounge for weapons and kill each other.
what you could do is make that into a penal colony.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Hey, maybe that can be one of the like arrested mechanics. You get arrested and you get sent to the penal colony and you have to win this game to get out.
I'd like that. But then does Patrick Stewart show up? Does Patrick Stewart then show up and as you escape from the jail? And
No, you're talking about Captain Kirk.
No, I'm talking about Oblivion.
Oh, Oblivion.
Oh yeah.
I was referencing the Running Man.
Oh, okay.
Two different kinds of people. Ones who are
All
old.
right. I'm gonna ask the next question here.
Okay.
What does everyone think of the news of beam weapons being canon now? This is being asked by Fastcart's Majestic Beard.
Well,
Is that a
Mr.
pun?
Mr.
Beam weapon
MB.
and cannon?
Yeah, I think it's canon. Yeah, I think that's a pun.
Oh, totally.
What do I think? I'm okay with it.
I like beam weapons.
Yeah, sure.
I
100%.
think we actually talked about this a little bit last week, and someone last week was saying that one of the problems with beam weapons is CryEngine really doesn't like beam things. It takes a lot of processing power to run beam weapons in CryEngine.
It's a good thing they're running Lumberyard.
Yeah, as long as that's fixed, I think beam weapons are cool. I think beam weapons are cool, and I hope that they're not just beam weapons. I hope that there's beams for other things, like mining beams. Like I hate to say it, but I really like that in Star Trek, that giant planetary mining laser in the first of the new Star Trek movies. Like that thing was freaking cool.
That was awesome.
That is how you would mine a planet. So I hope that we have those.
As confused points out, they're not exactly beam weapons, strictly speaking, because it's more like the pulse weapons in the more modern Mech Warriors, that they're just firing very, very, very fast pulses in a thing.
Oh, okay.
I hope they're going to be reserved, like Free Space 2's were, on capital ships only, because that would be a nightmare on a tiny little ship.
Just a little 350, like, pivoting around you with the beam focusing on you the entire time.
I disagree, because I want one of like the little shuttlecraft from Star Trek with little like phaser weapons and.
See, I mean, that shuttlecraft from Star Trek isn't something that would work in Star Citizen because the way their engine and everything works.
Their engines are multifaceted. They rely on quantum dilithium to interpolate space
Actually, the
through
closest thing we had to that would probably the Argo.
subtraction of some sumpted variables.
Actually, I think you'll find that the dilithium fusion reaction only happens in warp drive for post-light stream speeds. Duh.
Actually,
I can't do the impression as well as you.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the ships everyone is most excited for in each of the 4 upcoming patches? From Shiver's Racist Flag.
That's the state of Mississippi flag. So yeah, you're right.
So I'm going to quickly go over the ships that are coming in the next 4 patches.
Okay.
3.1, we have the Reclaimer. So I already know David's answer. The Terrapin, the Razor, and the Tumbril Cyclone. In 3.2, we have the 600i, the Hurricane, the Eclipse, the Mustang update, the Avenger update, and the Vanduul Blade. 3.3 has the Connie Phoenix, the Aegis Hammerhead, and the Cyclone variants. And 3.4 has the 300i rework, the Anvil Hawk, the Reliant variants, the Freelancer variants, and the Connie Torres, which is supposed to be the basic model, but is apparently...
I will say that if anyone has an answer that is not the Reclaimer, the Freelancer variants, or the Avenger rework, then you're fired. You're a bad person.
Shit, I was fired.
I was gonna say those two, the Freelancer variant and the Retaliator, and I want to say the Connie Phoenix.
Well,
Eric, what is your wrong opinion?
I have to go from my heart because my first ever ship was the 315P, so it's the 300 series rework.
I gotta say, I like the Constellation Phoenix and the 300i rework too.
Okay, so Nakara and Shiver are now fired from Relay. So, there are open positions.
flag go.
They are our open positions at the highest level of Relay's leadership. We take beer or money or oral sex as bribes. Contact me directly.
Wait, you've got
Okay.
one of those things because of Relay?
Beer, yeah. I'm still waiting on the other two.
I'm giving you beer.
You know, gotta be-
You, Shiver, you gave me beer. Why do you think you're in a leadership position?
Yeah.
I'm in a little bit position to add more diversity because we had way too many Canadians.
It's true. We're mostly Canadians. It's why we. Yeah. Oh. Okay. What's the next question?
Great hockey team this year, though.
What's that?
We've got a great hockey team this year.
Man, I would challenge anyone else in the verse to to a game of hockey. Anyone else in the verse.
I can beat you at air hockey.
I'll beat you at air hockey. I'll beat you at foosball.
I don't play foosball.
Wow. Actually, I don't
just-
know. Does anyone else in Relay actually play hockey?
I
Stormy,
I play.
I will challenge you to one-handed football.
one-handed foosball? You're on.
Girls like
Okay, I've never played hockey. I played a lot of road hockey, street hockey. My nephew and my brother both played.
And I know Stormy's but it's
Stormy's kids do.
Stormy's kids do, but I think I'm the only hockey player.
Actually, I think Stormy might have played hockey a bit.
I hate to break this to you, but hockey is not big among my people.
It should be. Some of the best hockey players are black. PK Subban is one of the best defensemen in the NHL.
Whoa. Fastcart's black?
I know
Is that
it's hard to
false?
believe. I don't see color either, but
No, but basketball, football, yeah.
okay. What's our next question here?
The greatest player of our entire franchise was black. Joe McGinley.
Wasn't he half?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he
Okay.
was. He petered out hard though.
Well, yeah, when he was almost 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone does.
And ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Black History Month moment.
This entire podcast has been your Black History Month moment for Relay. Thank you for being on Fastcart.
Okay, I gotta read this. I gotta read this one too.
No one else in the world understands cricket, and we still managed to lose at it.
So the next question is, other than The Expanse, what are some other good sci-fi shows, movies, or books that people interested in Star Citizen would likely enjoy? This question is from Nikara's Barren Walls. No, wait. Winter tires in the back. No, wait. Get something interesting behind you to make fun of. Believe me, those are not my winter tires, because if they were, I'd be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to Canada.
I want to say John Gallagher had the Old Man War series coming up on, I believe, on Sci-Fi.
Is that coming to TV?
I believe last time I heard it was.
Oh, that's fantastic because that is an excellent series of books. John Scalzi is quite good.
Calling it the Ghost Brigade after the second book
Yeah.
instead of the Old Man War series. I don't know why, but I mean, I do know why, but I don't agree with the decision. But they call it the Ghost Brigade instead of the Old Man War series.
It should have been Old Man's War, but that is interesting. I want to see that now because he's a really good writer. Actually, I really like his writing.
Did anyone ever see Space Above and Beyond?
No.
Pretty TV. That was good. That was
That
good.
That only lasted what two seasons instead of 5.
I thought one season, but they did try and wrap it up.
I'm gonna recommend a movie that it's one of those movies that like everyone I talk to hasn't seen, but I loved. It's got a little bit of a thriller angle, like a lot of space movies do, but everyone should have seen Sunshine.
Yep,
I have seen that.
That movie is incredible.
It's kind of focused with it.
it's
I
good.
loved it. I would also recommend to everybody. This is mostly older now because, well, it's Arthur C. Clarke, but Arthur C. Clarke's novels are spectacular.
Yep.
Almost without fail. And I have a personal favorite that's kind of an off-the-wall one, not one that a lot of people talk about, and it is called, I believe it's called The Song of Distant Earth. It's called The Songs of Distant Earth. It's an Arthur C. Clarke novel from 1986, and it is fantastic. So I'm going to recommend that book.
Fastcart?
I was gonna say it's not space sci-fi, but it's still sci-fi. Silver may disagree with me, but I'm looking forward to seeing Battle Angel Alita. The movie is coming out later this year, hopefully.
Pressing and pointless.
Shiver?
No, but the thing is, the good news is the anime that Silver and I watched only covered the first half of the movie. They're gonna have a whole second half that's beyond that, so it should be better for Silver, hopefully.
Also, I mean, I'm sure 90% of the people who watch us have seen this, but Rick and Morty.
No, Rick and Morty is ass.
Rick and Morty is incredible.
Rick and Morty is ass.
You don't get that of an opinion, David.
It literally debases humor as a construct. Go and watch some Monty Python and tell Rick and Morty to literally swallow their own shit.
Rick and Morty's amazing.
I think they did an episode about that.
Probably, yeah.
I'm still saying, Altered Carbon. Go watch Altered Carbon right now.
I've heard it's good. Yeah.
I have two more.
And I mean, Star Trek Discovery, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm quite enjoying it. It's a little bit off of what you'd normally expect from Star Trek, but then some episodes are exactly what you'd expect from Star Trek. So it's kind of a mix. I would recommend watching it. It's fun.
I'm looking forward to Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One is an adequate book. Not greatly written, with a fantastic concept.
Okay.
It's not well written. It's great. It has so many excellent references in it, but it is not a well-written book. And part of me wishes that someone who could write better had come up with the idea.
But the good news is that Steven Spielberg is directing it, and he actually owns the right to many of the nostalgic moments.
Many of the things that they're referencing. Yeah, the Orville is pretty good. I only saw one episode of it so far, but it looks fun. Star Trek Discovery, I actually really like. I don't like their reimagining of the Klingons, but everything else is fantastic. I've heard Altered Carbon is good. I've also heard Altered Carbon is terrible from someone who actually read Altered Carbon. Like someone who's read Altered Carbon like a dozen times and gave the show a 4 on 10 for its alteration of the message. Basically, the book is better. I agree with Nakara in his recommendation of books. Basically, books are still better when it comes to sci-fi than sci-fi shows, because sci-fi shows are freaking hard to do. But if you want good sci-fi books, honestly, go read most of John Scalzi. John Scalzi is fantastic. Go read Red Shirts. Red Shirts is fun. It's easy. It's light. It's fun.
That should be a TV movie.
It should. It really should. Red Shirts actually feels quite a bit like Orville, to be honest. Go read Asimov. Foundation series is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Read Frederick Pohl, the Heechee saga.
Really quickly, Timothy Zahn, Star Wars.
Don't read any Star Wars. Star Wars only works in movies. Tell Jake that I said that, and tell him that he can come up here and fight me in person.
I just wanted to touch on something. Dirk said that Star Trek Discovery lost him after a second episode. Number one rule with Star Trek: almost every Star Trek series, the first season is total shit.
That's true.
Go watch go watch Next Generation's first
It's
series.
horrible.
It is bad.
Awful.
It
There
is
are like
just
3 good episodes in the entire first season. The rest
Yeah.
are just garbage.
trash.
The first episode, Troy just goes, "I sent pain, tremendous pain."
Yeah, but they never knew what to do with Troy.
They should have got
But I also
just
wanted
got
to
rid of her.
mention
And then they
Discovery-
give it the ship. He fucking crashes it.
Discovery gets its feet later. It's actually not as bad as most Star Treks are at the beginning, but it's definitely getting better and better and better as it goes along. So give it another shot. But no, there's actually a lot of good sci-fi right now. I have to say, personally, for me, not everybody shares this opinion, but I know this was saying except for The Expanse, but The Expanse to me is incredible because
The last book.
specifically because they actually touch on the real problems of space travel,
Yeah.
where like lack of oxygen and like lack of gravity
And haven't the makers of The Expanse talked about Star Citizen at various points as
a
well?
ton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
they're
They
it's-
tweeted about it a couple of times.
Yeah. It's
they-
it's taking the same idea of, hey guys, let's do this real. Let's just
Yeah.
show what it would actually be like to be in space. And to be honest, I haven't watched much of The Expanse, but even like the first episode or two, all this talk of like turning around and burning the other way and the forces that you will be hit by in that because space doesn't work. Like blacking out in Star Citizen is actually really, really nice to you. Cause
Yeah. You should die sometime.
yes.
It'd kill you. And that's the other thing. Like people who are born in space have different bodies, the bones
Yep.
and everything, so they can't take the G forces
Yep.
as well.
yeah, like these incredibly powerful soldiers from Mars trying to go to Earth, and they're like kittens.
Yep. Okay, I want to quickly, we've got 10 minutes left. I want to quickly
Oh.
get through the next 3 questions.
One last recommendation, because it's Black History Month. Black
Do it.
Panther.
Yes,
It's more comic book than sci-fi, but I heard amazing reviews about
I
it. So-
am so excited to see Black Panther. Marvel has been knocking it out of the park with virtually every single one of their movies, and it really sounds like this movie not only knocks it out of the park as a Marvel movie, but also as a Black cultural movie. Period. Taking the entire, like, it is unapologetically and immersively Black.
and it's coming out this Friday.
Yeah.
Is
so
Fastcart in the movie?
I wish.
I wish.
It sounds like it's
Elseworld has
fantastic.
Make me think of something. Michael Crichton books, Westworld, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, those are sci-fi.
I
Jurassic-
loved Michael Crichton
Oh,
growing up.
Jurassic Park
actually-
2 coming out.
Probably one of the worst Jurassic Park movies and one of the best Jurassic Park novels. The Lost World was incredible. Read it. Amazing book. And the movie is literally nothing like it at all. They're like, oh, this is the story for the book. Well, we'll just put that over there and we'll make a completely different story.
NVIDIA 101.
Strong books. They were
I'm-
quite scary, full on.
I am drinking me one of my favorite beers of all time, which is a Guinness Extra Stout. It's not the typical draft Guinness that you get with the little widget in the bottle that makes it all creamy. Freaking love it. Love me some Guinness Extra Stout. Okay, Master of Harry Muff asks, 1, what is the quarterly patch pipeline process as far as we know about it? Creating content, making content, cut, fixing things till patch release. 2, when or where is the Evocati testing in this process? Should we expect a 1-month fixing time after 3.1? And excuse me, will this have effects on 3.2? So as far as I understand it, the quarterly patching process is patch to 3.0, and then the people that work on fixing things in 3.0 are working on that, but the rest of the team is still working on 3.1. So you've got separate teams working on different things. Evocati testing, as soon as they can reasonably send something different to the Evocati to test. Right now, I believe the Evocati are test, or I think
They had 3.01 for like a day.
They had 3.01 for a bit. They'll probably get 3.1 a week or so in advance of everyone else. And honestly, we can probably expect a month of fix times between each of the major patches. It'll probably be patch, then what did this patch break? Okay, spend the next month fixing it. We've fixed it with a patch like 3.01. There will be 3.11, 3.12, etc. And hey, it's fixed. Now we leave it and focus entirely on the next monthly patch.
I would expect probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks to start hearing noise about Evocati getting 3.1. I think, well, each of these patches is pretty sizable. And then they're probably going to want at least a week or two in Evocati in case they run into problems. And then they'll do a week of PTU and then live. So maybe, I would say by the latest, I would say mid-March at the absolute latest.
And it's due on March 28th or something like that?
All I know is it's supposed to be the end of the first quarter, so I'm guessing right in around it. It might actually be 11:59 p.m. Hawaii time on the 31st. But
Is Alaska or Hawaii further west?
I think Hawaii's further because it's like most of the way to Japan.
So Fake Paul asks, where is your go-to pub and space for booze? Also, what do you expect to release on time with this roadmap, and what do you feel will slip? My go-to space pub is the Astro Pub. Unfortunately, I don't actually know where it is. I know what it is, but where... I believe that's still to be determined. Hey, Paul, where?
At the bottom of the ocean in Goss.
Where is the Astro Pub? I hope it's not at the bottom of the ocean because that wouldn't be very astronomical.
Austin,
logical.
I'm disappointed in you.
As to what's going to slip, I don't know what's going to slip. But I know two things that can't slip. Female characters and object container streaming. Those are two things that cannot slip.
I do have an
I
answer.
thought object container streaming was going to slip.
It can't.
I do have an answer of what's going to slip.
Rebind.
They're gonna slip on their release date. It's gonna be April Fool's Day.
I'm gonna say some of the gameplay stuff will slip out of 3.2. It is very heavy on gameplay, and I'm not sure they can get all of it into one patch. I'm gonna guess that, just looking through the list here, I'm gonna guess that repair and maybe salvage will slip, but mining will stay. That's my guess.
I don't much care if ships slip. I don't even much care if certain things in gameplay slip. I like that some of the crap. What are they called? The thing that moved up this week. The beacons.
The first service beacon, it's the distress calls.
I mean, that's kind of cool. But honestly, the things that really, really can't slip, we need female characters. At this point in the game, we need female characters. And at this point in the game, if they want to expand the universe, we need object container streaming. Those can't slip. If those slip, we've got a serious problem, in my opinion.
This is for Shiver. You talking about that ships can slip? Yeah, if you put enough lube on anything can slip.
Actually, I think ships are one of the things. Their pipeline for ships is so solid now.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things that won't. I think they've got that down like.
Except for the hull. Except for the hull C, because they had to determine how the centerpiece expands and contracts.
They can expand and contract it. They're having a difficulty with like the physical, like, because they have to expand the physics grid
Yeah.
and contract it, and they're like, how does that work without just breaking the whole game?
Yeah. So
Will we allow player characters in there while it's doing this? What will happen to those characters? Will we allow NPCs in and so on?
yeah,
They get squished.
Yeah.
if that's what happens, that's what happens. Common K asks, I noted the last question for the day. I noticed that IFCS will be tweaked in 3.1. Do you think we'll see a complete overhaul of the flight model as well? I doubt it.
Not a complete overhaul.
I don't think you'll see complete overhauls again.
So what percentage of overhaul do you expect then? It's not a complete one.
19.3%.
23.8. I don't know. It just I expect overhauls of the game of the flight models to happen all the way through as they realize like, oh hey, this doesn't really work when we do this. And like if at some point they add underwater, they're going to have to be like, okay, well now the flight model has to account for underwater, but luckily back when Star Citizen first started, they had a really big problem where CryEngine thought that everything that wasn't a planet was underwater, so they've already got that covered.
Oh, I just want to say my answer is going to be 60%. In other words, 3/5.
I mean, they
Good
need
answer.
combat to at least be at a position where we can say, right, this is damn well good enough for Squadron as well, because it's a huge part of Squadron, so it needs to be good enough for Squadron.
Oh,
Exactly.
Before we go, I made fun of the African American or the people of color people at the beginning of the show with blonde hair. I appreciate CIG for putting people of color in their promos and ATV and stuff like that. So I mean, don't take my criticism and stop doing it. It just looked weird with the blonde hair. That's all.
And one last question came in before we end. From the best part of waking up is Justin in your butt. The question is, will Space Citizen be canceled this year? The answer is a resounding maybe. Find out soon, TM. Next time, Tuesday, on the Relay Station.
Tuesday?
Space Citizen podcast.
Eris Hour was on Tuesday. What are you doing now?
I don't know. Eris Hour's on Tuesday. Find out next time on the Eris Hour. Saturdays on Relay Station. Tomorrow, Tuesday, and forever. Again, in the verse. Thank you. So long. Farewell. Adieu. Tuesday. Relay Station.
Thank you for not having me in the back of the bus.
Fastcart, Shiver, Nakara, Eris, Ghost 404's very beautiful logo, the Podsat Saturday, the Astro Pub,
Show coming this Friday as well.
Gray-Headed Gamers Not So Sober Saturday, Star Citizen, Space, the Falcon Heavy, Space X. Okay, I'm done.
Black
Goodbye.
Go see Black Panther.